Hello there, and let me bring you up to speed with the latest what is happening. So there is an ongoing conference about the wage bill, the 2023-2024 wage bill, and there has been some recommendations in regard to this. So the country apparently is living beyond its means, and SRC now wants to actually reduce the current wage bill to 35%. Now the big question is, how will that happen? Now that has been the conundrum that the country finds itself in, and stakeholders plus government officials want to actually reduce the current expenditure and wage bill to at least 35 by the end of the year 2028. Now, despite this happening, remember there is an ongoing doctor strike. The doctors want an increment, or rather through an implementation of the current bargaining agreement between the doctors and of course the government that was signed in 2017, but the government says they don't have money, and as such it can only be as it is for now, the hardliners between the government and the striking medic. So that is the discussion that we'll be having tonight later on. But remember, our team have been up and down to bring you up to speed with the latest in the world of politics, business, and of course sports. And this is what to expect.
Tonight, affordable housing success is our priority. Gachagua says government is committed to implementing housing project, urge youth to go for TVET certificates. Rebuilding Sudan. Mudavadi calls for urgent need to speed up action to end the conflict in the troubled Sudan. Boosting SMEs. Government to establish apps to help in marketing artisan products in the country and access various government funds. Plus, Kenya-Korea ties. Kenya and South Korea to strengthen diplomatic ties.
This is KUTV Primetime News with Auma Evans.
Good evening and welcome to the State of the Nation. This the 17th day, or rather the 16th day of April, the year 2024. And of course, to help me in this, our bulletin tonight is our very own Sheila Kinyaga, who will be helping us in the sign language interpretation department. Remember, you can follow this broadcast on all of our social media platforms. We are coming to you live on YouTube at KUTV News Live. You can tweet us on X at Auma Evans. Remember to use the hashtag State of the Nation. So tonight we begin State of the Nation here in Nairobi, where President William Ruto hosted South Korea's special presidential envoy and first vice minister for foreign affairs Hong Kim at the State House, Nairobi. The head of state said Kenya is committed to enhancing its bilateral ties with South Korea to boost trade and economic opportunities. According to President William Ruto, Kenya values the partnership in the development of technical and vocational education and training, or if we prefer the acronym TVETs, public health, water and sanitation, and ICT sector. The two leaders added that they are looking forward to escalating their collaboration in the forthcoming Korea-Africa Summit. Now, From the head of state to second in command, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has challenged youths who are already contracted at the construction sites to ensure they acquire certificates for their informalities acquired skills, saying that the government has instituted the recognition of prior learning framework to help them in certifying their knowledge, as Anyango Sylvia now reports.
During the signing of a multi-million shilling contract between the National Housing Corporation and Embu Juakali Business Inclusivity Craft Workers Association for the fabrication and supply of steel doors and windows for the affordable houses at Majimbo area in Embu town, the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua revealed that thousands of skilled youths already benefiting from the multi-billion housing project being rolled out in various counties.
On top of providing shelter, decent shelter for our people in accordance with the Constitution, it is creating employment for our young people. Na kwa hivyo ndio sisi tuko hapo tumekwama kwa hii program.
And there are only two sectors that has the potential of employing millions of Kenyans. These sectors is the Juakali sector.
Lakini wengine hamuna karatasi, si ndio? Lakini mkiwekwa hata na watu ya diploma ya degree mko mbele, si ndio? Kwa sababu mmejifundisha kazi. Sasa tumeanza program ya kusema nyinyi muende pale kwa polytechnic, pale kwa ministry ya industry, mfanyiwe mtihani, mawe uweke kabiro, ikiingia unapita.
According to the DP, the project is playing a big role in the fight against illicit brews, drugs and substance abuse, as youths who have been sucked into the menace were busy in construction sites earning a living. Anyango Sylvia, KUTV.
Thank you, Anyango Sylvia, for that. Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi says that there is an urgent need to speed up action to end the violence in the troubled Sudan. Now, the Deputy, or rather the Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi, who doubles up as the Foreign Affairs Minister, has called and termed the ongoing violence in Sudan as inhuman, particularly for children and women who are suffering. Mudavadi was speaking this during the remarks, or rather made these remarks during a visit in Paris, where it bring together the ministerial meeting for advancing the Sudan Peace Initiative. Dorothy Musyoka with the details.
Following the Sudan crisis that has been experienced for the last 1 year, a meeting was convened by the France government, Germany and the European Union to bring together the world in finding solutions to manage the crisis. Prime Cabinet Secretary and Minister for Foreign and Diaspora Affairs Musalia Mudavadi, during a meeting for Sudan peacemaking process that was held at Paris in France, noted the importance of both Intergovernmental Authority on Development (IGAD) and the African Union be involved in any international processes seeking to address the situation in Sudan.
And unless we also participate in resolving these issues directly as Kenyans, as Africans, as the AU, we are doing disservice to the continent. So
all these friends of Sudan had one intention: to make sure that Sudan does not fall further into war.
Mudavadi also reiterated that the Sudan conflict is a threat to regional peace and stability, noting that IGAD is optimistic that the Special Envoy and African Union's high-level panel on the resolution of the conflict in Sudan will both play an important role towards ensuring regional inclusion in and ownership of the peace initiatives for Sudan.
Inclusivity, the African Union, IGAD, the international community, all players must work together. We must converge our efforts into one unified position that will yield results.
According to the Prime Cabinet Secretary, in order to achieve a sustainable peace in Sudan, joint efforts and consultations are required by the warring parties as well as civilian actors. Dorothy Mosioka, KUTV.
Now, counties of Isiolo, Tharaka Nithi, Nyandarua and Lamu have now taken the initiative now to complete the construction of multi-billion project that will build county headquarters from the Ministry of Public Works. Now, this follows a directive issued by Senate Standing Committee on the finance and budget constructed in the international or rather intergovernmental relations to actually build the proposed headquarters for the counties. This is in line with the 2010 constitution that brings development closer to counties.
With the growth of devolution, county governments have now grown 13 years down the lane, and it is now felt that county governments can take over the completion of these offices.
Is to have that building ready so my staff, sub-county staff, have offices and the public can be attended to in a good surrounding. Yeah. So please, Waziri, and organize that they also go and see the further construction.
Now, the government, through the Ministry of SMEs, and that is Minister in charge of the SMEs, Simon Chelugui, has affirmed its commitment to support and engage in various economic activities through apps that will help farmers to sell their produce and actually boost their produce in the market. While this happens, it will help to boost the artisan product in various counties and access to various government funds in the country.
At the Kigumo Basket Weavers Expo and Fundraisers event, Cooperatives and Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises MSMEs Cabinet Secretary Simon Chelugui laid bare the government's plan to introduce digital marketing strategies to attract buyers across the globe and uplift the livelihoods of artisans. Chelugui challenged artisans to emulate farmers, especially those in coffee, dairy and avocado sectors who have been receiving huge boosts from the government funds through formation of cooperatives. The CS further noted that through other agencies like the Kenya Industrial Estates known as KIE, the National Youth Opportunities Towards Advancement Project known as Nyota, and the Hustler Fund, the government fund a similar project through her ministry that seeks to uplift the livelihoods of women by marketing their products and offering financial aid.
Tayari hivi sasa tumedevelop app ambao tunaita Sanaa app ambao kazi yake ni kuhakikisha tumefungua soko kidijitali ili vitu vyetu tunavyovitengeneza hapa na kuondoa mabroka hapo katikati. Anayetengeneza awe anafaidika moja kwa moja, kinatoka kwa mtu anayetengeneza moja kwa moja kwa mnunuzi bila kupitia brokers hapa katikati.
Jumwa stated that her ministry is working to ensure that in the next national budget, funds are allocated to assist women groups access quality raw materials for making their products.
Lazima tutafute pesa tuweke katika bajeti ambayo tutasaidia kuwapa uwezo hawa kina mama kupata hizi mali ghafi ama hizi raw materials ambazo watatengenezea viondo vyao na hatimaye sisi tuwe tunatafuta soko.
Through the establishment of these mobile apps, Kenyans can now find the right service providers that help homes and companies source for reliable artisans. Theo Masharia for KUTV News.
Let's take a very short break. We'll be back with more.
From the hospital corridors, we bring you experts to discuss issues affecting your health, from diet to mental health. The familiar and the ignored are both put into perspective. We then dive into the environment and look at the effects of climate change and its solutions. Join me, Mutegi K. Martin, every Friday at 9 p.m. as we learn on how to better our health while taking care of our environment. Only on KUTV.
They are powerful and influential. They make decisions in politics, education, finance, agriculture, health, sports, and all aspects of human life. But the impact of their decisions falls on you, the common citizen. KUTV Primetime News Thursday, we ask bold questions and pursue answers to the core to bring you closer to the story. We couldn't have it any other way. Join me, Auma Evans, as I raise matters of social concern to raise your voice from the background to the foreground. Every Thursday and Saturday at 9 p.m. only on KUTV.
Maelfu na maelfu ya wahamiaji wakiwa na watoto kutoka nchi za Amerika ya Kati wanaendelea kuwasili kwenye mpaka kati ya Marekani na Mexico.
But folks, I'm going. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Ni habari kutoka pembe zote duniani.
Pepo pasi vuguvugu, pepo pani idea.
Tazidi ananyonya, hanyonyi vizuri, anakuwa hayuko comfortable.
Jeshi la Jamhuri ya Kidemokrasia ya Kongo linapambana na waasi wa ADF.
Kwa sasa wanatoa wito kwa mashirika, makampuni na vile vituo vya uchukuzi.
Mambo mengi yatakwenda kama yalivyopangwa.
Hapa ni kuna mmoja wa viongozi wa chama cha wavuvi katika eneo hili.
Zaidi tunajaribu kuwapa chanjo ili ina boost ama inanyanyua kinga ya mwili, hiyo inaenda kupelekea kupambana na virusi.
Ni duniani leo, Jumatatu mpaka Ijumaa, moja kwa moja kutoka VOA Swahili, Washington DC.
Kaunti maarufu kwa kuzalisha maziwa na ukuzaji wa majani chai. Pia, serikali ya kaunti inawahimiza wakulima kukumbatia mitindo mingine ya kilimo kuzidisha mapato.
Kama kuna kikundi moja inafanya biashara ya kuuza kuku, hao pia tumewafadhili kuwafunza jinsi ya kuhandle zile kuku kwa sababu wanaleta kwa wingi.
Haya yote tunakuletea katika Boresha Kilimo, toleo la kaunti ya Bomet.
Kilimo ni nguzo kubwa kwa ujenzi wa taifa.
Are you an aspiring media practitioner, a graduate, or you just want to advance your skills in television production? Then welcome to Kenyatta University, where education meets innovation. KUTV, the premier university television station in Kenya, is now offering short courses in TV studio, field technical operations, and video editing. Through these courses, you will acquire hands-on skills on camera operations, media production, lighting techniques, audio-visual editing, and sound and visual control, and how to operate key equipment in modern TV control room. Enroll today at KUTV and discover your full potential in cutting-edge TV broadcasting. Graduates of these courses will receive professional certificates. For more information, visit our offices at KUTV Studios or call us on 020-870-4252 or 020-870-4255 or SMS us on 0739-110-544. KUTV, a new experience.
Maelfu na maelfu ya wahamiaji wakiwa na watoto kutoka nchi za Amerika ya Kati wanaendelea kuwasili kwenye mpaka kati ya Marekani na Mexico.
But folks, I'm going. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Ni habari kutoka pembe zote duniani.
Pepo pasi vuguvugu, pepo pani idea.
Sazidi ananyonya, hanyonyi vizuri, anakuwa hayuko comfortable.
Jeshi la Jamhuri ya Kidemokrasia ya Kongo linapambana na waasi wa ADF.
Kwa sasa wanatoa wito kwa mashirika, makampuni na vile vituo vya uchukuzi.
Mambo mengi yatakwenda kama yalivyopangwa.
Hapa ni kuna mmoja wa viongozi wa chama cha wavuvi katika eneo hili.
Zaidi tunajaribu kuwapa chanjo ili ina boost ama inanyanyua kinga ya mwili, hiyo inaenda kupelekea kupambana na virusi.
Ni duniani leo, Jumatatu mpaka Ijumaa, moja kwa moja kutoka VOA Swahili, Washington DC.
Tunachimba hadi mizizi kukuletea yanayojiri.
So mimi naomba tu serikali yetu ya Mungu, jibarikiwe na Mungu, iweze kuteremsha bei ya mafuta.
Yanayokukumba tuna maizi, tunakutetea sisiri. Kwa kweli ni speciali tukikupambia makala ya mwanamke mwake. Utasema hupendi mizizi ya habari. Nami Caroline Kimwe.
Are you an aspiring media practitioner, a graduate, or you just want to advance your skills in television production? Then welcome to Kenyatta University, where education meets innovation. KUTV, the premier university television station in Kenya, is now offering short courses in TV studio, field technical operations, and video editing. Through these courses, you will acquire hands-on skills on camera operations, media production, lighting techniques, audio-visual editing, and sound and visual control, and how to operate key equipment in modern TV control room. Enroll today at KUTV and discover your full potential in cutting-edge TV broadcasting. Graduates of these courses will receive professional certificates. For more information, visit our offices at KUTV Studios or call us on 020-870-4252 or 020-870-4255 or SMS us on 0739-110-544. KUTV, a new experience.
You are watching KUTV Primetime News with Auma Evans.
Right, welcome back, and this is the state of the nation. So tonight we want to track two key fundamental issues that affect we as Kenyans. I'm talking about the ongoing doctor strike and of course the public wage bill that the government says it must at least come down to 35% because currently we are living beyond our means. So that is the discussion that we are tracking right here. And of course, we invite you to be part and parcel of this discussion. You can talk to us on all of our social media platforms, and we'll be sure to sample all of your feedback at the tail end of this bulletin. Remember, we are live on YouTube at KUTV News Live. You can tweet me on X at Auma Evans. Remember to use the hashtag State of the Nation. And of course, I'm joined tonight with my guest here who will be helping me to unpack this particular discussion. That is, let me get your name correct. That is Kaikai Naipamei. Thank you so much for making time and of course for, taking part in this very important conversation that you're having tonight. And of course, I'll just throw you in direct to whatever is happening. And of course, we'll begin with the issue that I believe has born to the discussion that we're having tonight, the issue of striking medic. I believe it's almost a month since they downed their tool, and the situation at our public health care is dire. Many patients are suffering. Well, I want to take your account on this and give me your reaction. What do you think about the stalemate right now and the hard line between the government and, of course, the striking doctors? And what do you read in all this? And probably, what is the best solution forward?
Yeah, so thank you very much for having me. Yeah, it's a crucial conversation because we all know that our health is very important. Without good health, we can't do our daily jobs properly or efficiently. And also, without security, the doctors can work well. Without teachers, the doctors can get knowledge from the people who have taught them. And without the law, those are lawyers and courts. Without the rule of law, the country will be in shambles like Argentina and Haiti.
All right.
So I believe that what I'm saying is that each career is very important. It complements each other. But let's go straight to the matter at hand, which is health matters. So I would like us to see it from the Constitution of 2010. There was an article, I think, that provides that the Ministry of Health should have default functions, whereby the national government will only deal with matters of, coordination and supply of medicine to the county. And then the county will deal with employment of medics, that is all kinds, lab techs, clinical officers. My best friend is a clinical officer. And surgeons, dentists, all those stuff, nurses. And then, but there have been a pull and push situation, just like any other ministry, whereby sometimes counties, when they fail, they say, national government hasn't given us money. We have had these stories. But then let's go straight forward to according to what is happening. So we are basing, the medics are basing on the 2017 CBA. So I believe most Kenyans are aware of what that document entails, the 2017 CBA. So let me just review some important highlights that the CBA contained. So according to the 2017 CBA, the request made by MEDIC to the then government in place was effective date and duration of the agreement was on July 1st. That is when they signed the agreement. So July 1st, 2017. And the agreement was to last for 4 years. Then after 4 years, there will be a review. So I would like us to take this journey and count from 1st July 2017 plus 4 years. That is 1st July 2021 is when the KPMDU should have done a review. I'm just reading from their website. Yeah, it's public information. So there's no politics here, there's no anything. So I'm just I want us to get into the flow and understand what happened. So the request of the CBA of 2017 was that salary benefits, which is very important for every person who works, not only for medics, but for everyone, you including as a presenter, a journalist. It's important that you get a fair returns of the services you're offering, not just for you to survive, but for you to sustain yourself and your family and to get some for your investment. So that should be very clear to everyone, that having a fair salary and where possible, allowance is very important for everyone who is working in the Republic of Kenya. And then the other involvement or highlight of the CBA 2017 was the process, they outlined that there should be no delay of their salary payment. As I said, it has always been a push and pull where since the function were default, county delay paying them for 6 months. I said earlier that my best friend is a clinical officer. So there was a time he stayed for 6 months without a salary, and it was not a nice situation because your parents know that you're working for government. You are a medic. But you're like asking your parents, give me 60,000 for paying rent, and they're wondering what is happening. So it was not a good thing, because I've experienced firsthand from my best friend. So I believe that I've just mentioned two. There are so many things they negotiated, but those are top, which it is leading us to the situation where we are. So those important issues of avoid delay and of payments for the medics and the allowances, and also there is an important factor which I've forgotten, giving them a space that is conducive, especially for night shift. It's very important. So they included it there, that when the medics are in night shift, the government institutions, which are hospitals and healthcare facilities, should at least have a comfortable space where a medic can sleep. They can get access to internet, they can get a TV, just like any other public servant who are in position. So those were very important requests or grievances raised in 2017, which this government still honors it, because, as I said, the other day, the leadership of the Medic Union were with the CS Florence Bore, who is the CS for Labour. And if you followed the report, she was also very concerned. She's in line with their requests, because they're genuine. To be honest, there's nothing that they requested that is beyond normal, because all those I've stated are important for every other person. The same way we fight for the police officers, the prisons, to have better spaces, yet they're prisoners. Why will we not fight for the people who are providing healthcare services? So it's just normal. But now, where there's a pull and push between the intern medic. So the problem is the intern medic and their stipend. So initially, the agreement took 4 years, which it was supposed to be reviewed in 2021, according to the 2017 CBA. But remember, in 2021, they did not review because siasa ilianza. They didn't review it. So the campaign's mood came, the then president didn't have time to sit with them and review going forward for the long term. And as we all know, agreements have a time limit.
All right.
Yeah, it's just like contracts.
Okay.
It can be 5 years, 10 years, 15. In this case, it was 4 years.
All right.
And then now they were supposed to review then immediately after the new government was formed.
Okay.
I don't know what happened. They waited until after 2 years, because last year was the first year for this government to be in place, and now this is the second year. So there is concern that the stipend for intern has been reduced from the then agreed 206,000 to 70,000. And they have that stand, and they're saying, like, we are not budging. The government has to pay us. So according to the statistics, we have around not more than 10,000 doctors.
Okay. And before even we move further, now the real problem here is the hard line between the striking medic and the government.
Stand,
And do you see an end to this? Because this is a problem that seems to be persisting. And of course, in as much as this, the strike will continue, then the doctors are holding their firm stand. At the same time, the government says they don't have money. Do you think maybe we'll have a consensus, or is it a situation that maybe we could see a further escalation, because there are threats that maybe there might be some, even stiff and more stringent actions from the doctors? So what do you read in all this?
So according to the doctors, KMPDU, the first grievance was they say that the delay of their salaries and allowance has never stopped, even if there was an agreement. So the government was positive, and they are going to pay 2.4 billion Kenya shillings to the delay or the arrears, which is positive, because they requested, it's their right. The government is willing, the treasury is going to release the money for them. So that is a positive result, that the government listens. But now where there is a strong badge is that, as you said, like, we have been spending way above our revenue collection, way above our means of living.
All right.
It's like we've been living on extra credit. which we are expecting the future generation to carry that burden, which is not right. So what the government is trying to do is that we rather pay medics, not only them, by the way, to be honest, because you remember last year the president cut off the traveling of senior personnel with their assistant. They used to go when there are 10 people, and right now it's only the important people who are going to negotiate. They go between 2 to 3 people, a cut of 7 people. So that is important to put in place, that medics should not feel like they are the only people being told we are cutting down because we have to live within our means. No, it's not true. Every other senior people are being also cut. Like traveling allowances are being cut. Right now, there are so many PSs who are abroad, like from the Treasury, the CS and the PS are abroad, and they're not receiving an allowance for going to do work which they are employed to do. So those are the things that the president cut down. And even was it 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, when he had a meeting with CEOs and everything, you can remember his speech was strict that there is no misuse of funds. There is no unnecessary expenditure or allowances given to people, yet they have a salary. So the medics are one thing I need Kenyans and the medic to understand is that they're not just picked out and being told your stipend is being cut because you are a medic. No, it's just that the government is putting in place this strategy that so many expenditures which are unnecessary are being cut.
Okay, now you have really actually raised a very important question. When you talk about the wastage, of course, you and I know that there is a lot of wastage in the government, of course, and this is part of the reason why a commission like SRC says that we need to live at least by our means, and they want to cut that expenditure from roughly 43 all down to bring it to 35. Now that tells you that we have a problem. The doctors, when you go by the fiscal policy, the doctors in their own right, they have the right to demand for an increase in the salary because, well, we all know the harsh condition that you are in, and a salary increase will do at least a much of justice to the ongoing thing. However, do you think they have a point when they talk about, the implementation of this agreement? Because it's something that binds them. In as much as the government says it was maybe during the signing of this agreement, maybe the government did not consider some of the factors, maybe like, let's say, the opinion of SRC, actually to give their input on this, if it's actually attainable. But don't you think the government needs to actually live up to their end of bargain?
Yeah, as I said, it was an agreement that was to be reviewed after 4 years. Why was it being reviewed after 4 years? It means that there were some agreements that were workable then, or some requests that were workable then. But due to change of situations and circumstances in the government, there was a need that after every 4 years, they review it and say, okay, this was what we agreed for the last 4 years. This has been working well for both our medical practitioners and our government. But this is not working anymore because of ABCD. Just the same way, every other citizen will expect that if your employee is changing any terms and condition of employment, they will call you and tell you, you have been working for us for the last 7 months. But now we are reviewing. But also, let's separate these issues. It is the interns. This effect is for interns only. It's not like for those who have fully finished their course and their nini. So the government is trying to say, you are an intern. Do you know the rest of intern? Some even receive 12,000 stipend per month. But we are not trying to compare. We are not trying to compare careers here. We're just saying, as an intern, there are others who have been there for 6 months. They have 6 months to finish. And actually, there is one important thing that the government has considered. It has promised that at the end of your internship, you will be directly, fully, permanently employed by the government, which is a win for these interns, because we all know that, according to SRC, when you are fully employed by the government, your salary ranges between 600,000 to 1.5 million, which is very good salary.
Fair enough. Now let's address the elephant in the room. Let's talk about this, the wage bill. Well, right now, owing by the Standard, and this is from the Felix Kosgei, he said, during from the time 2019 to at least 2023, we have had some increase of public servants who have been employed, and this has increased the wage bill. And it says that we need now at least the revenue that the government is collecting to now go to development projects, things like that, instead of servicing, the salaries of the public servants. Well, yeah, we have them, but what's the solution? Does it mean now we'll have to fire the workers or what?
So what the Chief of Staff and the Head of Public Service, Mr. Felix Koskei, said, he said actually when they were in Mombasa, on Friday, Saturday, on Sunday, he was meeting the head of the PSs and the CSs and stuff like that.
Okay.
So what he meant is not like people are just going, okay, let's just be honest. Let's even forget what he said. Let's be honest. Have you ever gone to a government institution and you find someone the age of your father, they're 70 years and they're still in office? They don't have any idea of like the evolving world, the technology that is coming and stuff. I feel, this is my personal opinion, it is not the opinion of the government. I feel like some individuals who are just filling spaces in government offices should retire. To be honest, because I'm saying this from real experience. I've gone to so many government institutions ever since when I was in campus, 2017, 2018, 2019, up to date. And sometimes I go there and I'm being told, oh, go see our senior. And then I go meet them. I respect the elderly and I respect their wisdom. But if you see their productivity level with what's vis-a-vis what they are receiving,
all right,
it's not equivalent. Because you know, when you get to 65 years, your thinking capacity and your energy and creativity slows down.
Okay.
So these guys are 70 years, 73 years. They need to go home. And they're not two. There's so many. Like, if you go to many government offices, it's those old people who are so many. The young people who are creative, who are innovative, who will help the government come up with better ways of making more money.
Okay.
Are not getting the opportunity. So the old guard should go home.
Now, talking about the old guards going home, now let's talk about those who are there. Well, the government says that there is no money for at least pay rise. Maybe if you want your salary to be reviewed for this time, maybe the government says it's not possible. Let's take a look at our fiscal policy. This is how we actually spend our economy, how the taxation and everything that concerns this. Well, if you live in a country where, going by the transaction, some say the cost of living is high, at least you need a pay rise to meet the demand, the daily demands, and of course the basics need that you need as a Kenyan. Well, at a point where you are in a very state of, we'll say it a very dilemma state whereby you barely survive as a nation. Well, the only hope that you have, maybe government, maybe, or even your employer could do something to at least increase just a little bit of your paycheck. But it's now, as things stand, it will remain that way, at least.
For now,
this is what the government is saying. So how do you balance this? At one point, you have harsh economic condition. At the same time, as a nation, you have to balance because you have to live at least
within your means.
Within your means.
We need to live within our means.
How do you deal with this?
Yeah. So, just a point of correction. For the last 17 years, the economy has been tough because the government took a strong stand to subsidize production and not consumables. And yeah, it was a new thing. It was scary for everyone, including even government officials. It was scary because it's something that has never been done since independence. Since independence, when Kenyatta took place, he subsidized final products, consumable. Moi came in for 24 years. That is why there was maziwa ya Nyayo, mkate was 20 bob. He subsidized it. Kibaki came in, he carried forward. And Uhuru did the same. But when Ruto came in, he sat down and with his government, of course, they reviewed all the policies and all the money that are being spent on subsidies alone. It was a lot of money, every month billions of money. And beside that, this money were even not going to the right places they're supposed to be. You remember at a time when President Uhuru declared that there are 2 billion Kenya shilling being stolen every day. So such were the things that this government was trying to curb, to seal those loopholes. Yeah, it was a tough journey, but I'm happily here to report that the cost of electricity has reduced by 13.5%. When you buy your token right now, you can confirm.
But who do you contribute that to?
It
Is it
contributes
the government
to the
or the global market policy?
No,
Because
electricity
matters to do with matters to do with
electricity we define by ourselves because we produce for ourselves.
No,
we don't import electricity in Kenya.
But there is some factors like fuel.
Yeah, fuel is different from electricity.
Because increase in fuel at least contribute to increase in electricity cost.
Yeah.
A decrease means that Kenyans have reprieve.
Okay,
so who do we attribute this reprieve to? Is it the government or the global dynamics?
The government decides for their citizens. It's not the global. Okay, we are Kenyans. We have laws and rules and regulations that define us. We have the head of states. We have everything that defines us. And we have our territories. So the global doesn't decide how Kenya lives. The only thing that we align global are global policies and issues. And at this point, I'm talking about the issues of Kenyans. And those are definitely defined by the government of Kenya. So let me finish. The cost of living has reduced. We've started from electricity. We've started from fuel. Paraffin has reduced by 23 shillings yesterday.
18.
And yeah, 18 shillings, sorry. And that is, yeah, and you see, there is no subsidies. The main point that I need Kenyans to understand, these things are generically reducing without subsidies. You see, for the last 50 years since independence, they were reducing, but they were not true prices because there was a subsidy that the government has paid. So if you used to buy fuel at 150 shillings, the government had paid the extra 30 shillings. But right now, you're buying at 193 petrol, it's the true value of 193. The government is paying nothing. You know, so that is the big difference. And then you've seen the exchange rate has really reduced with the true value again. When this government got in place, they said, you know what, we are going to let the Kenya shilling to freely fall, not manipulating it from the CBK. And you see it short. It went to 167. That was the true value of Kenya shilling. It was not being controlled by the CBK to say, oh, for the purpose of attracting investors, for the purpose of, you know, getting more loans and stuff. But you see, after a time, it has now regained its strength, which is generically, it is not manipulated by the CBK. It is not controlled and say like, a good example that I will use to compare it is the Nigerian Naira. When the government was controlling, it was at 400 versus $1. But when it was left to freely trade, it went to 1,600. So you can see the difference. And now you can understand that when the CBK of any country is controlling the trading of currency, we as Kenyans will say, oh, things are okay. But that's not the truth because it's being controlled.
A quick one before we wind this up. Well, yeah, we agree. We have seen the cost of fuel coming down, the cost of unga, fine. But there is a general feeling from Kenyans that the cost of living basically is high. We have high taxation, that is according to them. Well, when you talk about the cost of living coming down, we must see a reflection. Is that the general perception that we're seeing? And what's your take on this?
Let me explain in a very layman language. Most things have been reducing, like for unga, people are feeling now, but it didn't just start reducing yesterday. It started during the harvest season, which was other places harvested December, others January, right? So if anything, the costs have reduced for any commodity. We don't feel the impact immediately because number one, remember, demands and supply controls the market. If I imported or I bought from a farmer, my products are at a different price. I have to sell it all ishe. So that I can now adapt to the new prices. So that is why we are not feeling it immediately, because the products that are already in the market, they have to be cleared before now they adapt the new prices. So that is the simplest explanation I can give. But one thing I can tell you, Kenyans, for sure, as my parting shot, is that this strategy might seem hard because it has never been done by any other leader. But one thing I can tell you guys for free is that it is working and it will continue working, and you will enjoy this fruit. You won't feel it immediately because, as I said, the forces of supply and demand controls the markets, but you're going to be happy eventually, and you're going to support the government fully that they made tough decisions, but they are better decisions for both the current and the future generation. There will be no debts being carried to the future generation. Like for us, we've been carrying forward these debts. We were not there during Kenyatta time and Moi time.
Okay.
But we have carried these debts to this generation. So us living within our means is helping ourselves and our children in future, that they will not inherit debts that they were not aware of.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, Kaikai Nai Pamei, economist, thank you so much for making time. And of course, let's hope we'll see a better Kenya. Well, so that is all we had for you as far as the state of the nation and this very important discussion is concerned. And of course, we'll be taking a very short break. When we come back, we'll be diving into matters sports.
From the hospital corridors, we bring you experts to discuss issues affecting your health, from diet to mental health. The familiar and the ignored are both put into perspective. We then dive into the environment and look at the effects of climate change and its solutions. Join me, Mutegi K. Martin, every Friday at 9 p.m. as we learn on how to better our health while taking care of our environment. Only on KUTV.
Now it's time for sporty action. The Kenya Rugby has unveiled a 28-man squad under 20 squad ahead of the 2024 Bathurst Trophy Cup, scheduled for 20th through 28th of April in Harare, Zimbabwe. The Simon Jawicher-led charge will face off against the host nation Zimbabwe, Namibia and Tunisia to hunt for ticket to represent the country in the World Under 20 Trophy. The squad for this year's comprises of 9 members of the 2023 team, along with 19 debutants selected from various teams across the country. From rugby to football. Now, ruthless Chelsea put 6 past hapless Toffees in the English Premier League clash at Stamford Bridge to rekindle their hopes of a place in the European showdown next season. On form, Cole Palmer netted a hat-trick inside 29 minutes and added his 20th Premier League goal of the season in the second half to move him level with Erling Haaland in the race for the Golden Boot, while Nicholas Jackson and Elfie Gilchrist also got their names on the score sheet as the Blues put on a show at Stamford Bridge. Right, so we have come to the end of our bulletin tonight, but let me remind you, this is a good thing, by the way. 6 out of nothing. Wow, that was a show and a half. A thorough punishing and beating of Everton. Well, so we leave it at that point. My name is Auma Evans. Sheila Kinyaga has been our sign language interpreter tonight. Until next time, do have a lovely night and God bless us all.
Are you an aspiring media